Hi, Santa Barbara and Montecito. My name is Daniel Zia. I'm the founder and CEO of Zia Group here with eXp Realty on the Central Coast. And I'm here to deliver the December 2023 real estate market update for South Santa Barbara County. We're going to go over the general market of that entire South Santa Barbara County, as well as the luxury market, specifically in Hope Ranch and Montecito. So stay tuned. So the first and the most significant change the last month has actually been that interest rates have finally started coming down. They are now at the lowest levels that they've been all year long. So they're now in the sixes rather than the sevens or eights, which is what we've experienced this year in our real estate market. So there's lots of excitement from both sellers and buyers about that. Also, the Fed has said that they're going to lower the rate 3 times next year. So all the lenders that we're talking to here locally, and there's some wonderful ones, are communicating that they're expecting interest rates to maybe come down as much as 1 or 1.5% by the end of 2024. That's great news if you're a buyer, and it's great news as a seller, because a lower interest rates mean that you have more buyers in the market, and those buyers have more purchasing power, so they generally feel more confident to pay a higher price for your home. Both of that is, those are great factors there. As far as what's happened in the last month with our real estate market, sales activity has picked up, partly due to this optimism and partly due to those lower interest rates, and lastly due to some increased levels of inventory, because there's been a lot of buyers that, even though interest rates haven't been as low as they want them to be, they've wanted to buy and they specifically haven't bought because they just haven't found the right property. So as inventory levels have come up a little bit, it's been a really good thing, and we're starting to see that the number of sales are increasing a little bit, and we're seeing good sales activity, and that sales activity actually happened pretty quickly. So a number of our listings here at Zia Group have sold with multiple offers, with phenomenal sales outcomes for our sellers, and significantly above above asking price. We have one off-market property in Montecito that literally we just put into escrow that had 3 buyers. So we have a backup offer 1 and a backup offer 2, and all 3 buyers went significantly above the asking price. So the seller's thrilled with that outcome. Let's see, kind of going down here, we're still seeing lots of cash offers. Right now we're seeing about half of all of the closed escrows are actually closing in cash. I would expect to see that number start to come down in the next few months, because as interest rates get more attractive, people decide to leverage that money and leverage the bank's money and keep their money at work in other investment instruments that are getting higher rates of return than the cost of that money with lenders. So I'd expect that to come down in the next few months. So if you are a finance buyer, that should be good news, because you'll be competing with less cash buyers when you're looking at offer to offer comparison in a multiple offer situation. As far as the velocity of offers, properties are still selling fairly quickly. On average, it's taken about a month to sell, and we're still seeing on average, depends on the segment, but on average, maybe a 4% discount off the asking price on average. And again, that's going to be really segmented from the properties that are really priced well, that are going to get multiple offers and go above the asking price, 2, 3, 4, 5%. And then the properties that aren't as priced as well, and they're going to sit on the market for a little bit, and then there's going to be a one-on-one negotiation, and there's going to be a 3, 4, 5, 6% discount in that asking price. So really, it really pays to work with a real estate agent that knows the market and knows the specific property that you're interested in, and can walk you through whether or not to negotiate aggressively to get a better price, or negotiate aggressively the opposite way and secure the property and be the winning bidder. As far as prices, this is kind of interesting. Prices have stayed flat. The market had softened a little bit last year and this year, but the median and average sales price, it just depends on what segment you look at, but it's either exactly flat, a 0% change, or a 1 to 2% decrease, depending if you're looking at median or average sales prices, if you're including the luxury area of Hope Ranch and Montecito or not. But overall, prices are pretty flat. Now, that said, we have had, a handful of examples of properties that did sell in the last year or two come back on the market, and a lot of those have not sold for quite as high as they did a year or two. That doesn't mean that the market has dropped as much as those properties dropped in their final sales price, but sometimes there's other factors. Buyers wonder why the property was resold so quickly, and some other factors. But overall, again, the market's been flattish as far as pricing. As far as inventory levels continue to be much lower than the last 5 years. Even they've ticked up a little bit. Year to date, buyers have had 16% fewer homes to look at, which has been one of the reasons why the number of sales is down still so significantly when you look at this year as a whole. It's really the lowest number of sales in our market that we've seen in any market since we started tracking it for decades. So even lower than 2008, lower than 2009. So I would expect with interest rates coming down that next year we should see a greater number of sales. I think the National Association of Realtors is expecting about a 15% increase in the number of sales next year versus this year. I think that feels probably pretty true and what I'd expect to see here locally in Santa Barbara. But we'll see. As far as a number of sales, closed and pendings both are down about, by plus or minus about a quarter of the market. And we have about half as many sales this year compared to 2021, which is our peak in the market from a number of sales standpoint. Okay, so now let's talk specifically about the luxury market in Santa Barbara and the luxury market of Hope Ranch and the luxury market of Montecito. So we have right now about 4.5 months of inventory. That means if no new homes came on the market at the current rate that they're selling, all of the homes would be sold in 4.5 months, which is actually pretty quick for a luxury market. There's lots of renewed optimism and excitement in the luxury market right now, and that was felt with last month. There were 9 sales above $5 million, which is great, and that's strong sales activity. On average, homes are selling for about 6% below their asking price in just a handful of weeks, but there are some well-priced Montecito listings that are selling the first couple days, the first week, and selling above the asking price with multiple offers. We had multiple offers, including an over-asking price kind of offer on one of our luxury listings above $8 million just a number of weeks ago. There are currently 56 luxury homes available for sale. Those include condos, and they've been on the market for an average of about 3 months. If you compare that to last year at this time, there were only 38 homes for sale. So that's a lot more inventory for buyers to choose from. And what's happened is that's actually created a jolt, an exciting jolt in sales activity as buyers have more selection. And so they're making more offers. And we've seen 67% more closed escrows. And on average, this is wild, the closed escrows this last month were sold in 1/5 of the time. Last year at this time, there was about a 5-month average sales time for the listings that sold. In the luxury market this year is about a month. So a significant difference. The highest sale last month was actually in Summerlin at 130 Montecito Ranch Lane. Beautiful Spanish-Canadian trading property, has some wonderful features. It sold for $13 million, even as beautiful as it was, with the freeway noise and the views not being quite as strong as some other homes in the area. I was still surprised at that $13 million sales price. I think the seller got a big win on that one personally. As far as the condo market, specifically with luxury condos are actually selling really well. We had 5 luxury condos that sold in that $2 to $3.5 million range last month, and an average market time of just 4 days. That is wild. So there's a lot of buyers out there that are saying, hey, we want either the lower entrance price for a condo, or they just want kind of the turnkey, less to maintain right now. And so that's a lot of the second and third home buyer pool there. As far as let's just talk the rest of the condo market in South Santa Barbara County. On average, condos right now are selling for about 99% of their asking price, very comparable to last year. They've been selling in 3 to 4 weeks on the market, which is a bit slower than last year, but still relatively quick. And we've seen more condos actually sell last month compared to last year at this time. So the condo activity has ticked up here at the end of the year, which is nice. And as I mentioned, the luxury condo market in that $2 to $3.5 million range has been selling very, very well in an average of 4 days. As far as the new inventory and the number of sales, new inventory and the number of properties that have gone into escrow is exactly the same. It's a 22% decrease on both. And so I've been saying it month after month after month. The reason why we're not seeing more homes to sell or more homes sold is that sellers aren't deciding to sell their homes. And so we've had 22% fewer sellers raised their hand to sell, which means we've had 22% fewer escrows open in our market. So we're really hoping that some sellers decide to transition in 2024, because there's a lot of condo buyers and single family home buyers that really would love to get into a home. And then as far as sales prices, again, it's very similar condos for single family homes. In some statistic, you'll see that they've dropped by about 2%. In other statistics, you've seen they've actually gone up by about 2%. So let's just call it flat-ish when we look over year to date, the last kind of 12 months. So there you have it. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. We'd be happy to do a private consultation and walk you through what the market's doing now and how it applies to your situation and your goals to buy or sell a home or invest in a piece of property next year in 2024. Take care.